Hello, and welcome back to my 5-year plan playthrough of RP-1. So, made a dev change. We talked briefly about last episode, which was in terms of construction times. And I'm not sure I actually want to still be doing that at 150%. Because, yes, that's now ruinously expensive. On the plus side, um, yeah, R&D is going to come online earlier, and we have a shot of getting the tracking station done in time. Those changes. So, Mr. Bond. Yeah, I'm trying to start a little earlier than the ridiculousness of this time. Um, June 1961, we've officially missed Yuri's night. April. Let's see. I think we just bounce, just warp and launch this. We are going to get a materials science upgrade, but I don't think it's going to do anything for us other than giving us better service modules. Because the efficiency upgrade, we're not, oh, right, it gives us better fairings, but we're not limited for, it's really. Um, and yeah, we're at 90.6% there, though we're not at max efficiency yet anyway. Did finally add this. Not at subsidy cap yet. All right. Okay. Should be getting a bunch of science now. Let's just verify that that's in fact occurring. Scan. Yeah, and we're not getting the cosmic ray science because it was dumb and forgot that it needs eccentricity. Sufficient funds? What? Oh, we're just barely positive. Why would there be insufficient funds to continue with construction? Deeply strange. The heck? That's puzzling. That's a weird bug. Wait, it's not advancing at all. Why is it not advancing at all? Oh boy. Oh, I know what I did wrong, I think. I think when I edited the save, I screwed up. Yeah, I screwed up. Well, that gives me information about how to deal with. Hey,
Hey there, Dream.
hey. Um, all right. So, yeah, gives this gives me information about how to deal with the how to write an upgrade script for this if I even want to. And I answer is probably I don't, given that I just broke the situation.
Whoa, what did I jump into the middle of here? Drama.
So I did the construction time thing.
Wow, awesome. So, how did you deal with the edge cases that you mentioned last time?
For pads themselves, I just ignored them. For launch
Yeah,
complexes, I
okay.
was able to get around the issue, and for the rest, I was able to do it. Also, um, I did the work to make downgrading work through the KCT system as well.
So are downgrades cheaper like the KCT system, or just take the absolute value and whatever that is?
No, they do the full shebang. So downgrade is you get the downgrade cost, which I treat as a negative and add it to the existing cost, and do the subtraction thing. That gives you a build time that is less than 0, and then you multiply it by negative 0.5.
Okay.
Which seems reasonable to me, just as a step, which makes downgrades run very, very fast.
Yeah, I was going to suggest, just do the absolute value of whatever the build time would be, but yeah, that makes sense.
Absolute value works too, but I figured in the downgrade case it might as well be faster than.
Yeah, teardowns should make, in some cases, definitely the teardowns should make more sense. Like lowering a building, but that's a real edge case, not a big deal. Yeah, cool, very cool. Hopefully it helps people's play experience because building upgrades shouldn't be the entire gating factor of your space program.
Yeah, it doesn't deal with the fun cost of them, but it deals with the time cost.
Well, we can tune the fun cost of them.
Yeah, although if we tune the fun cost of it, then we have to tune the curve again.
Yeah, well, I mean,
that's fine. As long as it's linear, we can just multiply it back in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I have to figure out how to deal with this thing. So I applied it to my save with the R&D complex that was 100 days in out of a 500-day upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
The result after the change is a 221-day upgrade. Well, 222 days. Take.
Were you still 100 days into it?
But yeah, I was trying to figure out how to. And I think the answer that I'm going to go with is give myself the 50K back. Put the progress to 0.
Okay.
And make it only take 121 days for this upgrade.
As a hack or as an upgrade
As a hack.
Script?
No, okay. I'm not gonna write an upgrade script for this, I think.
Yeah, I was curious what would happen because I've seen the KCT stuff in save files and they store like how many build points progress are you through this thing and what's your endpoint. So if the endpoint changed, it seemed like that would just work.
No.
Yeah,
you might think
enough.
that.
No.
That is what I also thought, even though I wrote the code that proves that it's not.
Well, it was my I'm giving you the chance to explain because like obviously the layman here doesn't know what happened.
Yeah. So first, I think I screwed this. I think I screwed this up.
Yeah, take your time. Obviously,
this again.
Things.
Spent rush cost. Oh, no, I didn't screw it up. It's just, that's fine. So I need to give myself 50, and I'll write off the extra 13K I spent rushing.
Yeah, I think this career has had enough changes over the course of it that none of it is canonical fully.
Yeah. Oops, I did this wrong again. It's 121 because there was 100 days in. So the reason why it's relevant is because we figure out it's basically the same logic that programs use. We take the current progress, we take the progress after this tick, and we use that and we take the cost you've already spent, and we use all that to determine the cost you should have spent after this tick. Which means that if we think we're 100 days in of a 221-day project, we should have spent almost half the money. If we in fact have spent less than half the money, considerably less than half the money, because it was only 100 days to a 500-day project, then bad things happen. And the bad thing that was happening was the game saying, hey, you don't have enough money to actually work on this because it wanted to debit like 100,000 funds at once.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, makes sense. I'm sure if we had it all to do over again, or like it's the KCT developer had it all to do over again, he might consider making storing actual funds progress and have the formula for how much funds progress you put in be changing constantly rather than having this kind of like linear build rate system and then the BP being, like wildly different depending on the calculations of how you do it.
No, it's precisely that has let me do the thing that you suggested.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you absolutely don't want that. Because we need the hard divorce of cost and time here. If we didn't, then the fact that a launch complex costs 2,400 to build would make it take the same amount of time as modifying a huge launch complex for 2,400 when the base launch complex is like 150K.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, like the system we have is correct for that. The other reason to do it that way is because then you avoid the problems of integrating um, based on weirdness and time step and all sorts of stuff. Because otherwise, like funds can go missing.
Well, the way I suggested would mean that funds couldn't go missing because you'd just be storing how much funds you put in, but the rate at which you could put funds in is the part that is, like.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
So you would be storing the fact that I'm 100,000
yeah. Although that then
funds.
makes it extremely difficult, I think, to calculate the remaining time on something.
Well, I mean, you'd be constantly checking, like, what is the actual funds rate that I can put into this, and like,
But if
because you
that
have to
varies over
calculate,
time, then you have to integrate that to determine how long the total build time is.
I mean, you do have to integrate it regardless. Like,
No,
it's which.
no. If you have build points and a fixed build rate, you just divide the build points by the build rate, and that
Yeah, but
gives
to
you your
figure out
time
how many
left.
build points you need, you have to figure out how many build points you need. You have to do the calculation at some point. Whether like
Yeah,
using
yeah.
the
But my
start
point is,
calculation.
you cache that, and then
Yeah.
fine. Whereas if the rate at which you're progressing is changing over time, you can't do a simple calculation to know how much time is left, which is bad because that's the calculation you have to do every frame when you're rendering the combine
Mhm.
tab.
Okay. What's an extra square root per frame?
I mean, it's for that one, it's simple, but
Yeah.
for other things, then like you have to like hand code the logic for all of that rather than just having a divide and assume that the inputs are fine.
Okay.
Um, anyhow, this now looks sane again. Let me see what that did to my budget. Something horrific. Minus. Oh, first of all, yes, I need to give myself the 50K funds back. Six, seven.
Actually, I know how you do this. You'd also store a time increment per funds when you start the process, and then you would know.
Assuming that's constant, yeah.
Assuming it's constant, yeah. But it would be constant other than, like you adjusting the slider or something like that, but you'd have to count for that regardless.
All right, so
This is why I should stay quiet on the stream, let you get more work done.
all good. So that's 100 days to build. So we can't really rush it. 15. Um, right, so over the course of a month, all right, so this is probably fine, leaving it at this rate. Although that's safer, leaving it at 100.
Yeah, what are your credits like for the other stuff you've got that you might need to save for? I know you said you had plenty of
Oh,
unlock credit.
I have tons of unlock credit. Oh yeah, I could have just, yeah, so my unlock credit is 368,000.
Yeah, we definitely need to look at that.
Yep. And that's after I've spent a fair amount, although not that much. But remember, I've only unlocked I've only unlocked about 180K worth of engine and tooled a single launch vehicle. I mean, apart from like the V4 and video toolings that don't really matter.
Yeah. Well, you've unlocked 3 engines, and one of them is a pretty expensive unlock for early in the campaign.
Yeah. Yeah, but I very much agree that our funds balance is, I know. I think our time balance may be better, but our funds balance is.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about the time. I
Yeah,
mean,
time we can
frankly,
always
you're
futz
running a
with.
little late, but it's more the like, well, if you're just giving away so many unlock credits, it starts to feel stupid. Like there's just, you still want it to be a consideration for people.
All right, so we absolutely could shave about 30 days off that, which means speed this up. Yeah, that works. Okay.
Keep in mind, you'll want some funds when R&D completes to do all the researcher hires.
Yep. But the decrease is quite low now.
Fair.
Okay, that was a correct warp. So yeah, that was the bug. Bug is fixed. Much is left on this thing. 7 days. And not that much science. All right. There. Okay. But yeah, so we're 600 researchers is almost 200,000 funds. So you're right. That's brutal.
We'll still get some and be able to increment up, so that's still good.
Yeah, and importantly, the program budgets are really spiking. Crude orbit, we're gradually increasing. Early inner planet, we're halfway up the sharp spike. This is flat here. All right. Um, okay, let's build a backup.
You fix whatever communications test was the problem it had for not giving you confidence.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Com Network didn't have its optionals filled out. Yeah, that actually already got released last night.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't pay attention as much to the releases as you do. We should use that announcements channel.
Yeah, probably. Okay, we're doing the Com Network 4. Oh yeah, I was going to sim it. Forgot about that part. Oh, whatever.
See your pants it is. I was curious if you were going to try and milk this program just for the complete early rep boost or try and get confidence out of it, is why I was asking earlier.
Yeah, based on the fact that I don't have anything to replace it with, I'm probably going to get for confidence.
Yeah, then you should do that test set quick so you can get the soft cooldown, and I think that'll be your second complete, so get early set test. Sorry, early comms next.
Yeah. All right. Let's do it.
I don't think there is no Mr. Bond.
No, there's not. For that, there's basically like that's the point of launch complexes, and already people are yelping about how tight the constraints have to be. That's why we need the manufacturing system. Sent guidance. Okay, so our parity has to be above that. All right, and super low eccentricity. Let me check. Oh. It has no inclination requirement as far as I can tell.
No, it doesn't.
All right, so let's do our early shut off on 3. We certainly don't lack for delta V. Oh yeah, because I was calculating for 6371, and this is just 1,000. So sure, let's go all the way up.
You can even go with the significantly lower parapses if you wanted to.
Yeah, but good.
No reason not to.
Yeah, there's no not to, other than that I've already calculated the orbital details for this. No, Mr. Bond, probably. There's a bunch of medium-term stuff to work on. That Z fighting is so annoying.
It is.
All right. Let's do this. Time to see if I nailed my pitch program.
Looks kind of overlofted to me.
Maybe? Yeah, probably, given that the time to orbit is much lower than in previous launches. I think it is probably a little overlofted. But not by much, actually. No, about like 7 degrees. You're right.
Yeah, I didn't think it was crazy bad or anything like that. I was just putting in my guess.
Yep.
Now, Mr. Bond, I think as a player, the biggest thing that it will provide for people, besides a new system to tinker with, because we all love that, is the ability to treat rockets and payload separately, which our game doesn't. I mean, this doesn't do. Like, you're still tinkering with payloads while you're tinkering with the rest of the rocket. This will encourage you to kind of like, okay, I can do my payload in one manufacturing line and, you know, like, do custom work there, and we'll probably set it up so that payload custom work is appropriate to payload custom work, and then I'll have a manufacturing system specifically for my core stage and whatever that is going to churn out these core stages.
Yep. Yeah, the other thing that it lets you do is that then you can directly gain efficiency on a single launch vehicle. Rather than like on a class of them. And like there's commonality between them.
I mean, that's definitely an effect of it, but I don't think that's the one thing.
No, the selling point for players is like finally we can actually have you design your payload and then you place your existing launch vehicle under it and you deal with that differently. And
dev resources at like a procedural satellite system. So the hand game actually hands you a CompSat to launch versus having you make the
I mean, that
monstrosities
doesn't
you
take much in the way of dev resources at all. Like, we asked the community to contribute some built craft for that we would then like basically weld together and use for this purpose, and nobody ever actually contributed any.
don't remember that. When was that?
A couple years ago.
Okay.
I think you were busy wrapping up like Breaking Ground or something at the time.
Oh yeah, I definitely would have been totally out of it for RP-1 stuff at that point. Breaking Ground was a marathon.
Yeah.
Mostly because we didn't have the luxury to stop shipping version updates while we were working on Breaking
Yeah.
Ground. I'm not sure how that would work out, no, Mr. Bond. Mostly, I mean, it's an interesting idea, but because the launch cadence for a standard RP-1 game is so much lower, the ability to like kind of just buy a stage from elsewhere, uh, I'm not sure if the economies of scale you're getting from manufacturing could compete with that in a reasonable fashion. Like if it's a good idea to buy a stage from somewhere else if you're only going to launch one, versus a bad idea if you're going to launch five. Well, there's
Yeah,
many
that
places during the career where you're not going to launch five of it regardless.
yeah, I mean, I feel like we're sort of going to have to tackle that problem for planes, because in most cases you only need one each of a plane.
Although to be fair, they only built like three each of a
Three,
lot of
yeah,
those X planes, so
yeah, three X-15s.
yeah, what, two X1s and three X2s or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, maybe they just continue to use the existing system. Although then there's the weird KCT edit crap. Don't know how we get around that one. All right. I have to say, this stage, uh, more reliable than I would have thought. Yeah, there's definitely something clipping.
Yep. It's weird that it. I mean, I realize the lower stage is much heavier, but it doesn't rotate at all, and your upper stage gets kicked like crazy.
Yeah, I think there's something about it being so. Or no, it like the thing was when I had it on top of a. Maybe it's a height thing. I don't know. Anyway, we're in
Maybe there's
orbit now.
phantom geometry.
There's no noticed around. There's no decoupler force, so that's not the problem.
And if there was, you'd think the lower stage would feel some effects as well, especially since the lower stage is empty while the upper stage is still got
It wasn't empty, but
emptier.
yeah,
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure this is 2 tons, and yeah, I guess it was about the same mass as this. All right, let's go to AP. But before AP, and all right.
I think in 5 years he'd have sent something to Mars, Venus, and be working toward a crewed lunar landing, but that would still be a couple years off.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. For clarity, because apparently somebody wasn't aware of the reference. So the Soviet Union had a bunch of 5-year plans to govern industrialization and stuff, which is a pun about the fact that I'm using Soviet engines and architecture this playthrough, and also a joke about the fact that this is with programs. Six two 6-4.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with RP-1, the PLC update is the more planning required big new shiny thing for this mod pack. Yeah, I'm always curious what random people who are just looking at KSP streams and stumble into this are thinking.
Yeah, and watching me do like weird Principia stuff around Earth with an engine burning kerosene.
Yep.
All right, 637134, 6377. Okay, it's good. $63.80, 6377.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me, Orion.
Oh, I wonder if the Verniers use the fake thrust transforms, because they have weird like issues around. All right, so I'm fully cheesing this contract rather than doing the real version of this contract. But
I'm just going to dump a few out all at the same orbital
right,
position.
right, which is cheesing the contract.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh wait, that's dumb. Screwed that one up. Yeah. And I thought I had it. And then screwed it up somehow. Let's see, this is in six hours. Wait, what? This makes no sense. Apogee is in 1 hour. Okay. I feel like that's probably fine.
I don't think there's any kind of anti-cheese we could implement for this contract either.
I mean, there is. It's just it needs the contract parameter for antenna. Because the point of it is that it needs need to have comms between each of the vessels needs to have comms with the next and previous of the comsats, and they all need to have comms with Earth. So that we can do, because that's trivial completable altogether. But the parameter is how much of the Earth's surface has comms coverage.
Yeah. But that's not something we have currently in contract config area.
Right. We had it for remote tech, but nobody's written the other versions. Vertical speed, 4 meters per second. Let's fix our. Okay, that is effectively a perfectly circular orbit. All right, so let us separate all these satellites. By spinning up slightly, and there everything is. What the heck? Okay. Why does it think?
What?
Okay, so this is. So we'll rename it. Rename you. You. And rename. Wait, what? Where's the?
There's a fourth one, yeah.
B. C. A. Yeah, where is the fourth one? Did it go out of the 2 kilometer? Guess it did.
You still got one labeled as probe. What's that?
Yeah, why didn't it let me switch to it? That was extremely weird. All right. Now we're good. All right, hopefully I don't have to ride them in orbit.
I tested that
2 days.
contract. You did not have to ride them in orbit.
Good. So the reason for this, the spin was intentional. I wanted them to separate slightly. But I also sort of tumbled end over end a little bit, so the first 2 separated. Well, they did eventually. Yeah, that's still taking down. Cool. All right. So yes, I will fly one of these, get myself some confidence and some rep, and then fly that meanwhile. Yes. Right, what did it require anyway? It required 95 units. All right, so we can literally just launch this. We can just do that. Because we have the performance for it. We'll save at most a few days if we remove bits of it. Except we won't, because we've already made the same number of days progress, so who cares?
Right. Totally accurate. People just threw us some extra comp sets up there for shits and giggles.
All right, so we'll get the thing in 2 days.
You should accept the contract immediately if you haven't. I didn't spot if you did.
Why?
Well, if you accept the contract immediately, it's already way deep into its soft cooldown, so any time you spent building the craft will count toward the soft cooldown of the next contract.
No, it sets the soft cooldown on completion, doesn't it?
No.
What?
Well, otherwise, sure, that's how it works. Otherwise, what happens is you'd end up like, unless you specifically did the thing where you're always accepting the contract at the last second, you'd lose time off the soft cooldowns.
No, none of that. Nope. So first of all, I checked the code, and contract complete success. It sets the time, repeats that completion to the time. So that's when it does it, is when the contract completes. And the reason it does it that way is because, for exactly the reason you said, but the reverse, is that it doesn't matter when you accept the contract. Otherwise, you'd be incentivized to cheese when you're accepting the contract. Um, what matters, though, is that if you don't accept the contract at the last minute, you don't take full advantage of the cooldown. That is kind of
Yes.
annoying.
Yeah, that's annoying. I've definitely spotted where you come back and it seems like I know what the code looks like, but I've seen it where it seems like the maybe it's not this contract, but where it seems like the soft cooldown is based off of when you accepted the contract rather than when you completed the contract.
I mean, maybe there's one that has a different behavior.
Yeah, I'll go digging.
Oh, don't. There's only either um, offered, completed, success, and yeah, yeah. There's only contract offered and contract completed success for behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
Um, warp to complete the contract. Okay. Got the rep, and we can complete that program. However, if we did, so it can replace it with a 2-slot program, but if we do, we'll have to upgrade admin again. But I think that's fine. Geostationary comm network. Versus this one. Yeah, all right. Well, I mean, I guess we could do that. But no, we could just replace it with this is the point. So we know we have to take it anyway. Yeah, this seems fine. Yeah, we have 8 years to do it, so we can ride this for a while. Yeah, I think I want to do that. But then I definitely have to upgrade admin again before I could take crude lunar exploration. But there's a long time before I have to do that because crude orbit is going to take a while to. All right, cool. So I think I will launch this single ComSat contract and then complete the program. Because we're definitely at the point where think about doing lunar landing. The crappy tech that I actually have. So sure, I'll just accept this. We'll go to. We'll basically do exactly what we did in this last mission. Just with lower requirements and a higher inclination. Because sure. Look at that budget climb. Oh yeah, all of those are dead. Okay, now finally our income is stabilizing. Our outflow is becoming income. So what are the exact requirements for this? The exact requirements for this are launch a new vessel, orbit the Earth, and return home. So it's time to make a little reentry module for the advanced biocapsule. And we need absolutely none of this. Because we just have to orbit for like a day and then come home. Question is, do I still want to have this stage in here? All right, let's say the answer is yes, both because I want the data and because what's the reliability on this? Quite high already. So yeah, I don't care about that anymore. Actually, what's the data on this? This is still only 95%. So yeah, we actually want to fly that more. But it's not actually relevant for what we're going to be doing for a bit. let's up the utilization and then stretch it. Where it's tooled. Okay. What is the length of this that's tooled? 0.575. 1.48. All right. Okay. That will do. Sure. Okay, let's make sure these flip. And then that. All right, that is a reasonably large quantity of delta V. Okay. Oh. Get rid of all this. Get rid of this. Thermal shield. Why is that the only heat shield? What is going on? Where's RO heat shields? How do I not have it installed? Well, that's problematic.
Did you take something from a dev install where you had something more minimal?
I think I nuked my dev copy and was going to replace it with a release copy, and then I never actually did.
Makes sense.
So the idea here is we'll put all that stuff together. We'll decouple the sign. We'll transfer it over. How many sample slots does this have? Oh, it doesn't have a sample container. Well, that explains that. So we might put this on. I mean, I guess I could just do the whole shebang. Although I was planning to use a larger heat shield. But anyway, I'm going to mess around with that tomorrow. I think that this is a good place to stop.
Reasonable.
Great. Thanks for coming by.
Yep. See you soon again.
Good.
Later.
And thank you everybody for watching. I will catch you next time. Bye.